Hello, Hope Nation. Thank you for joining us this Tuesday evening. We have a very special presentation for you guys tonight. Most of the time we are on video conference and everybody can see everybody. But tonight we have a treat for you guys. So for those that aren't familiar with this new format, we're going to be sharing a few slide shows uh, that you're going to be able to follow along. Now, the cool part about this type of presentation is that you have the ability to text a question or a comment on our chat. So if everybody can find your chat bar and just type in hello or what's up or hey guys, just so I know that y'all guys know where to find it. All right, we have a hey from Monica. We have a hey from Kimberly. All right. So what we are doing tonight, guys, is super, super powerful because as you know, the majority of us are building our business on social media. Now, why do we build it on social media? Well, because social media is like a huge megaphone for us. And the clearer that we deliver our message, the more people are able to hear it. Now, what do you mean by this, Ray? Well, if I don't have a clear message, if I don't have a clear voice, if I have something filtering what I'm trying to say, then it doesn't matter how big of a megaphone I have because my message isn't being delivered because I really haven't found my message. And tonight, what we're going to do is give Steph the platform to share what she's found in delivering her message. Now, I want to give you a little bit of a background on Steph because I feel like a lot of people look at Steph and say, wow, I could never do what she does. You know, I go on her Facebook page and she's got really cool graphics and really powerful text, to deliver her message. And when I go on her fan page, on her FitLatinas, I see that she has, close to 4,500 followers. I'll never get there. Well, just like everyone else, she wasn't always like that. You see, Steph was very quiet. She was very quiet, and it was one of the things that I really loved about her is that she was so powerful in her own conviction, yet she didn't brag about it or she didn't boast about it. She was very gentle in her delivery of her message. And as Steph has grown as a coach, she has figured out the perfect blend in a tactful delivery and a precise message. And she's put it together in a way that I think is brilliant. I really admire what Steph is able to do on social media. So you guys are in for a show. If you don't have a pen and a notepad handy, if it's not laying around you, if not on your desk, find something. Find something to take some notes, guys. And Steph is going to be sharing from her heart. She has been working very diligently on this presentation, and this is something that she's been wanting to speak about for quite a while now. So grab something. I know that we're going to record this call, and I know that you'll be able to watch it, but there's nothing like taking notes as she's presenting. So give me a few seconds. She just sent me her slides, and I need to get them uploaded. Now, this is, but hold on 1 second, guys. I can't do anything. I need a PDF.
Can you do a share screen download?
No, I can't. 1 second, guys. Okay. And so Steph is going to be sharing what she has learned. Now, before we get into that, we do have some high fives, some virtual high fives that we need to give the team. And first off, we want to give a high five to everybody that participated in the Team Cup. The Team Cup, as you know, is a month where everybody across the nation, all of the coaches, um, put their best foot forward, and they come together in teams of 5 to really push themselves on, in their beach body business. And I know, some of you guys, a lot of you guys, you understand what it takes to push yourself on the fitness end. You have a wedding coming up, summer's coming up, you've got a big event coming up, and you really push yourself on a fitness end. And what we do during this Team Cup is take that and apply it on a business end. Now, what we told you is we were going to flip the script. What we wanted to do, our whole objective as leaders of Hope Nation, was to put you guys in a position to where you would experience what it's like to be a leader, to lead a team. We had a handful of people that really stepped up. Now, before I congratulate them, before I high five them, I really do want all of you guys to know that participating is a big deal. Participating in the Team Cup is a big deal. So I don't want you to feel discouraged if you don't feel like you performed to the ability that you feel like you can perform. There's nothing wrong with striking out. There's nothing wrong with not getting to exactly where you want to be. The important thing is that you participated and you contributed. So before I highlight these people, I do want to know that what you have done in this Team Cup is very admirable, and it is one of the first steps that you take before you become a leader of your own team. Now you have the experience. Now you have some battle experience. Now you have a badge that you can proudly wear on your uniform, that you have experienced what a Team Cup is. Okay. But there is one person that really stepped up, and if you aren't familiar with his name yet, it's Alex Huerta. Now, Alex, I want to put Alex on the spot because what he was able to do was very, very admirable. During the middle of the month, Alex came up to me and he shared his frustration. He shared his frustration that he was in charge of the team, but he didn't have any Success Club points, and he wanted some advice on what to do. And he was trying to rally the troops. He was spitting out his best motivational words of wisdom. And the only thing that I told Alex was, I said, bro, Alex, I said, if you're going to be a leader, if you want to be a leader, then you have to lead the charge. You have to have the most points out of everybody on our team. That's what a leader does. A leader goes to the front, raises their hand first, goes into battle, leads the charge, and outperforms everyone else. That's what a leader is. That's why they're called the leader. That's because they were up front. And what Alex was able to do, quite frankly, in half a month was lead the team. He had the most amount of Success Club points on all of the team. And he did it with half a month. So that is definitely something that needs to be recognized. And there's a lesson there, guys. Leadership isn't about telling other people what to do and what not to do. Leadership is about putting it on your own shoulders and leading, going and getting it done, going and getting yourself muddy, going and facing the possible rejections and saying, you know what, team, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to go do it. I'm going to go figure it out. I'm going to go and suffer the bruises and the scars and the bloody noses. I am somebody that you can count on, and I'm gonna lead from the front. I'm not just gonna tell you what to do. I'm gonna go and do it, and you guys take notes and find courage in me. Find courage in watching me. So huge high five to Alex. If everybody who has found your chat bar, go ahead and just type in high five, Alex. High five, Alex. Great job. Way to go. Okay, because that's a really big deal. Another person that I feel needs some special recognition is Miss Kimberly Ross. Now Kim, she is on track to hit Success Club starters. Now, Success Club starters, guys, is when you're a brand new coach and your first 3 months you hit Success Club 5. Okay, your first 3 months you hit Success Club 5. That's what you call a success starter. And when you do that, when you do it, or anybody that you bring on board the team hit Success Club in the first 3 months, you automatically get a free ticket to Summit. And what I think is even more cool than that is that you get to be on a exclusive call with our own CEO, Carl Deichler. So Kim has been a coach now for 2 months, and in her first 2 months, she's hit Success Club 5. Now, what I think is really cool is that Kim, this is her first shot at our at our competition, and she hit it. She hit Success Club 5. And what Kim was able to experience was what we call burning the midnight oil. Kim actually got her final points to get her over the top on the last day. We've had plenty of people who we've bragged about, who have been in that club where you're grinding to the very last day, and I mean, you've got your hands together. You're praying for those final points to get you over the edge. And Kim, during this Beachbody Cup, I think that she learned a lot. I think that out of everybody on the team, she was definitely one of the coaches who has learned the most. And the reason is because she threw herself in the fire. She threw herself in the fire, and she trusted everybody as a team to get her through. And in doing that, she took advantage of what a team cup is. And that's an opportunity to catapult yourself to the next level. What Kim was able to accomplish is the equivalent of two warriors going into battle and drawing a gun at each other and not flinching. Saying, you know what, I'm going to take this to the end, and wherever it leads me, I'm okay with it. But I am going all the way to the last ticking second. And that's what Kim did. And that's a very, very powerful experience. And a lot of what we have to talk about, what Steph is going to share, has so much to do with what Kim is doing on her social media platform. So high five, everybody. If you get on your chat and you can just say high five, way to go, Kim. High five, way to go, Kim, if you haven't done so already. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and switch it over to our very own Steph the Machine Cantu. And she is going to be delivering how to build your own voice on social media. So just give us a few seconds so we can swap places and she can take over the mic. Thank you so much for your time and hope you enjoy the show.
All right. Good evening, everyone. And once again, congrats to Alex and Kim. You guys are rock stars. I'm going to throw in Yvette's name in there as well. And so we've had some good production from a lot of coaches. With that, we'll go ahead and get started right into the meat. I am psyched about this. I've been doing a lot of research and really have been trying to open up my mind, my brain as much as possible and be completely open and just to deliver to our team basically everything that I'm learning. I want to do the work for you, but also take everything with a grain of salt, filter it through your own experiences and perception and take what really calls out to you the most. So so let's get started. Good evening, Hope Nation. Today we are covering Build Your Own Voice on Social Media with Steph Cantu. I was laughing earlier because we are registering for new Coach Basics groups, and one of our coaches, Esme, asked, should I put Steph or a Stephanie? And I'm like, just being a jokester, I said, put my whole name, it's Stephanie Oralia Cantu Mendez Martinez Don Juan. And I said, but if that doesn't fit, Steph is okay. And, you might feel like, what does that have to do with it? And the funny thing is that just a few years back, I don't think that's something that I would have been able to even post on there because I wasn't confident or comfortable with who I was. But that's how I am. I'm silly. I'm a jokester, and yeah, I can be pretty serious at times. But I also embrace my inner child and love to have fun. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about today in finding and identifying your voice. And at the bottom, you'll see that it says tuning into the OG within. OG standing for original gangster. You are your original gangster. And the very first thing in embracing that and tuning into that is finding your own voice and giving yourself the permission to use it. And it kind of cut off here a little bit in the back, but it says permission to use it. And that's key in when writing your posts, when creating your social media presence, give yourself the permission to be you. Be you authentically, unapologetically. Unapologetically, you know what that word says, right? You know how to read. You be you authentically, and don't worry about what anybody else is saying. And to really emphasize that, I'd like to quote one of great philosophers of our time, and Dr. Seuss. And Dr. Seuss says, be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind. And I cannot think of a better quote to really emphasize being comfortable in your own skin and in your messaging on social media. And to the right of this post, you see one of my great mentors. Her name is Marie Forleo. This girl is legit. Not only is she professional, as you see on that top picture, but she embraces who she is. I mean, in the bottom, she's wearing a beanie, a mic, and a Run DMC shirt. She's just embraces who she is. And you see that through her videos, through her trainings, and through her emails. You can really identify what her voice is, who she is. And, those that connect with her will follow her. And she creates a strong following. Those who don't, won't. And that's who she's after. She's after the people that get her. And because those are the people that ultimately she's going to be able to connect with, influence, and really make a difference in their lives. I know she has in mind. Now there's three basic strategies that I want to cover, and we'll call them the OG strategies. So OG strategy number one, and these strategies pertain to finding your own voice on social media and in your posts and in your comments, how to be you. So number one, draw on your own experiences, not your research. In other words, share, don't tell, and story, not expert glory. And I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on that. But as coaches, we say over and over that we're not fitness experts, we're not nutrition experts, but hey, it's part of our job description and our duty to educate ourselves more on how to be the best coaches we can be, and how to put our best foot forward to be able to deliver great value to our customers, to our friends, to those people whose lives we're investing in. So as you're doing your own research and as you're finding new information, I want you to share, don't tell. So use your own stories, use your own experiences in your journey to educate people. So say, for example, I just came across my sister's, one of my sister's posts, and her name's Elizabeth Mendez, if you want to check it out. But she shared a picture of her dinner, I believe it was. And she said, just a few years back, I would have never known what quinoa is, or how most of us say it in the very beginning, quinoa. I wouldn't have never known what quinoa was, but through time, I started embracing a healthy lifestyle and started learning about all these new foods that I never knew. Did you know that? So share your own personal experience, guys. The last thing that you want to do is share, be the expert. So let me quote this. I said, story, not expert glory. So share your story and not just share facts and information to be that expert to people. People want to know that you are real and that you are an everyday person learning and driving from your own experiences. Use your own life to inform your readers, your followers, your prospects, your friends. And using your own stories allows you to develop your own voice and content. So OG strategy number one, draw on your own experiences, not your research. Share your stories. OG strategy number two, when writing your own content, don't look at other people's stuff. And guys, and I say this, and I say this very loosely, because one of the things that you want to do as a new coach is check out other coaches' pages, right? You want to see what strategies our top coaches, our elite coaches using, so that you can learn from them. You might check out Ray and I's page. You might check, one of our top coaches' page, and so, but this is what, and I want to really stress the fact that it says when writing your own content. So I do not mean, hey, don't go on other people's pages, coaches' pages, see what they're doing. Is when it comes to, you have your fingers over your keys, or you have your fingers over your screen on your phone. When it's time to write your content, blinders up and focus on what you want to say. The thing is that if we're constantly looking at other people's stuff, at other coaches' things and posts, then your sponge of a brain absorbs it all. And when it comes time to write your own content, it's going to spill out. Their voice, their personality is going to spill out on your post. So when it comes to that moment, when you are inviting someone to a challenge group, or when you're sharing a personal story or something that you did during the day, put your blinders up and focus on your voice. Write content that is true to you. Now I'm going to go back a little bit when I said it's okay to follow other coaches and learn from them. And in doing so, guys, there's something that I heard earlier today, and it really resonated with me, and it really connected with my message today. And it says, I was listening to Shirlene Johnson, and someone posted, it's okay to be a copycat just as long as you're following the right cat. And so I'm going to translate that a little bit into our message today. Is when you are following these coaches, when you are learning how to grow and perfect your social media, and what I mean by following the right cat, it's okay to be a copycat as long as you're following the right cat, is to make sure that the person, the coach that you are, whose content you are reading, whose profile you are surfing, then make sure that there's somebody who is in alignment with your values and your voice. Okay, somebody that's truly gonna connect with you. For example, Shalene Johnson, she's great. I love her stuff. I love her content. She does a heck of a great job in her research. But it comes when I compare myself to her, it's like, is she truly in alignment with my values and what I represent and what I'm passionate about? Not really. So that is not somebody who I would. It's not a cat, quote unquote, a cat that I would copy, right? So I want to find someone who is more closer to my niche, someone who is closer to the passions and the values and the background that I represent and where I come from. So guys, when writing your own content, blinders up, focus on what you want to say, and stick to content that is true to you and your voice and your personality. OG strategy number 3, take the BFF reality check. And I laugh at this because I'm thinking back at when I first started coaching, and I was, your friends are on Facebook, your relatives are on Facebook. And I remember one of my friends saying, and she's like, Steph, who the heck are you? You sound so fake on your posts. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm a coach. I have to change, my wording and my messaging. And she's like, dude, just be you. And that really just lit a light bulb in my head. It's like, just be you. So what I mean by the take the BFF reality check is when you are writing a post, ask yourself, does this even sound like me? Or does it sound like I got abducted by an alien, they changed my brain, and I'm posting something that's not authentic to me? Ask yourself, would I say this to my BFF? If I'm having a conversation with her, is this something that I would even say? So will your friends go through your Facebook post when you're writing your Facebook post? Ask yourself, am I being authentic? Am I being true to me? Does this sound like me? Or will my friends say, WTF, who is this person on social media that what do they call it? That, went into your account and completely changed everything, your voice and everything. Yes, it's great to have your, yeah, there you go. Thanks, Yvette, a hacker. I couldn't find, the word was on the tip of my tongue. So who hacked Steph's account? Or who hacked Yvette's account? Doesn't even sound like her. So be authentic to you and take the BFF test. Now, to close this out, there's this quote that I really love, and it says, always be the first-rate version of yourself versus a second-rate version of somebody else. Be true to you, guys. Be authentically you. Be your original gangster. Be your own OG and tune into that. Embrace it. And really ask yourself in your content, am I being true to me, or am I trying to fit this categorization or this persona who I think should be coming from a voice of a quote unquote Beachbody coach? Be you. And by doing so, guys, you're going to attract your own market. You're going to attract your people like you. The more you that you embrace, the more you're going to attract people that understand you, that get you. And I'll tell you what, when you start attracting people like you, and I've said this a couple of times, and I say this to my personal coaches, when I get on the phone with a complete stranger that connected with my content, it feels like we have been BFFs for life. It is so easy, and trust me, Ray, when he was kind of sharing a little bit about me, I would have hid under the bed for days and not want to come out because I had to be on the phone call, and he would tell me, get on the phone. Now it's like, no, that's not going to happen. But when I started being me and just really embracing myself, then it was so easy to get on the phone because everything was in alignment with who I was, what I was posting, what I was sharing. And I no longer had this, I used to be this, try to portray myself as an expert. So I hesitated to get on the phone with people because I had that weight on my shoulders that I had to be the expert. And the more that I was just genuine and saying, I'm not an expert, I'm just a regular person learning every day. I love margaritas. I love, tortilla chips, and I love food. Then I no longer had that pressure. And conversations were just so fluid because people genuinely knew me, and I was completely in line with my message, completely in line with my persona, and I embraced it. So there's an assignment that I'm going to leave you today, and so those of you, I know a lot of you always come to these meetings to write notes. So get your pen and paper. This is my assignment for you today, and it's called the 3 P's: purpose, principles, and people. So number 1, purpose. Tell your story, right? I want you to really tune into what your purpose is as a coach. Tell your story. What were the things that really influenced you along your journey? Was it your confidence? Was it was it generally like a physical image? Was it an eating disorder? What is your purpose as a coach? How do you want to personally impact and touch the people that you work with? In what way? For example, my purpose, my story was empowerment, because I was that super shy, insecure girl that would even mumble and look at, my own sister's feet because I couldn't look at her in the eyes. So my purpose is to empower women. And when I'm sharing my story, I make sure that I say that over and over and over. That's something that the greatest room in the house is a room for improvement. And I know that we all have a little bit more room, including myself, including Ray, to improve in our storytelling and identify and letting people know what our purpose is. The P number 2, your principles. Tune in, ask yourself. And I was working with Kim, and I said, create a list of 20 things you are passionate about, 20 things in your whole life, not just in coaching, not just in fitness, not just with Beachbody, but 20 things in your entire life. What are you passionate about? Create a list of 20. Out of that list of 20, narrow it down to 10. What are the 10 things you are most passionate about that really stir you up, that shake you up inside? And from that list of 10, narrow it down to 5. And those 5 things that you are most passionate about are most likely going to be what you value most in life. And tuning into your principles and your passion, it really, that's what your posts are going to be about. It's going to be about those passions. It's going to be about those values. People are going to get a really sense of who you are, what you stand for, what you represent, and they're going to say, I totally connect with you, or they're going to say, I don't connect with you. We're always looking for people that connect with you, because those people that connect with you are the people that are they're gonna compose your team and your coaches in your family, because that's what coaches is. A lot of you guys, and I say this with all the sincerity and 100% genuineness in the word. I don't know if genuineness is a word, but we'll go with it, that you are my family. You are the people that I work with every day. You are the people whose profile I'm surfing every day to see what you are up to. So ultimately, the people that connect with your passion or values will compose your team. And lastly, people. Who is your ideal customer? Who is your ideal audience? Ask yourself. I was talking to one of my best friends the other day, and she's like, Steph, you know what? I think I'm not gonna settle anymore. I know exactly what kind of guy I want to start dating. I said, you know what? Good for you, Mel. Good for you, because one of the first steps in attracting that person is knowing exactly what you want and being clear on exactly what you want. So the same thing with your target audience, guys. You have to be 100% clear as to what kind of customer is your ideal customer, and you're gonna ultimately attract that. Does that mean that you're gonna kick everybody to the curb? Heck no, of course not. For example, I'm pretty clear in my message in Hello FitLatinas, right? Does that mean that I won't work with people outside of my race? Of course not. I work with everybody. Does it mean that I won't work with guys? Of course not. My ideal customer is the person that I want to continue attract, because it feels like I feel as though those are the people that I connect with the most, and ultimately those are the people that are going to identify and connect with the most. But like I said, it doesn't exclude. Does that mean because they don't fit that specific category and in every single thing you're not going to kick them to the curb? But you want to be clear as to who you want to attract and who your audience wants to be. It's going to be, and that is ultimately going to help help you have a clear message in your posting and your storytelling, because you're going to say, okay, the person, my ideal customer, the person who I'm trying to attract, what words are going to move them? What words are they going to cause them to get into action? For example, Kim, and I hope it's okay that I use you as an example. But guys, check out Kim's profile. She has been really taking a shift in her social media, and she's really getting her voice out there. Whereas before it was more, I actually just went into an old profile of mine, and I was seeing, man, it was nothing but stock photos. I had like pictures of Turbo Fire, the program, Shalene Johnson, and you couldn't really even tell who I was, right? And so we want to get away from that. I'm kind of getting off topic now, and I'm straying. But guys, that bringing it all back is, know who you're speaking to, know who you want to attract, and be concise and clear on that. Are they going to be single moms? Are they going to be parents with 4 kids? Are they going to be people whose life is really in tune with their spirituality? Is it going to be people who love salsa dancing? Who is it going to be? Get it out there. And Ray's over here started spinning and salsa dancing. But guys, I'll leave you with this. Embrace who you are. You have been given a platform to share your story. And God creates your story. God creates your difficulties. God creates your challenges. God creates your victories in order to give him the glory. And ultimately, everything that you share is a reflection of all the blessings that you've had in your life, and that or challenges that you've been able to overcome. And the people that are in that challenge that you experience, by sharing your story, you're going to shine a light and of hope in them. Ultimately, we are Hope Nation. We are here to share our stories. We're here to share our experiences. We're here to embrace who we are, so that in turn it could allow others to embrace who they are, to embrace their challenges, and to really connect with you. And once they do that, you will be on your way to really impacting and influencing and changing a person's life. And that is what we're here for. We're here to give people hope. We're here people to coach people into believing in themselves. We're here to shine a light and saying, if I can do it, you can too. And you are going to be able to do that the more you embrace you, the more you forget about what am I supposed to post as a coach? The more that you tune into what is my purpose here in coaching, and what can I share to move people? Guys, well, let's see, it's 6:40. I think if anybody has a question, let's say we'll have 5 minutes. Maybe we'll take 3 questions. If you have a question, go ahead and type in. I'll be more than happy to answer it to you. And of course, if you'd like some personal coaching with this, it doesn't take too much. I can really dissect your profile, go through over things, and we'll schedule a phone call. But right now, if anybody has a question, go ahead and input it in the chat option, and we'll get it answered for you. We'll have 5 more minutes on the call. If not, we can close it out. Y'all gonna have a great evening, enjoy your dinner, and call it a night. Babe, do you want to say anything?
How about Steph? I told you that you were in for a show. This is something that she is super, super passionate about. Powerful too. She's really good at it. This is something that she studies nonstop. Definitely way more than I do. So be sure to reach out to her, take her up on her offer to help you with your social media. Like I said when we started off this call, so many of us are building on this platform. So the better that you become at delivering your voice, your personal voice on social media platforms, the better your business is going to do. And more importantly, the more empowered you are going to feel because you are going to have the platform to deliver the message that you feel within. And when that happens, it truly, truly is a magical thing. Thank you so much for joining us. Like we say every Tuesday, this is our favorite day of the week because we get to spend it with you guys. So take this information, watch this video again if you have to, and start applying what you learned. It doesn't, nothing happens until you apply what you learn. So start applying what you learn. Don't be afraid to mess up. That's what Steph for. She'll help you figure it all out.
Thank you so much, guys. You have a great evening. And like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. It's what we're all here for. Have a great night. Love ya.